Well, the sort of semblance of normality provided by such entertainments came to an end in the summer and autumn of 1944. The Allied bombing campaign was destroying German cinemas, concert halls and theaters, radio transmission stations. Artworks had long since been packed away in coal mines and similar sites to avoid being damaged by the raids. When he was appointed Reich Plenipotentiary for Total War in July 1944, Goebbels closed down the few remaining cinemas, concert halls and theaters. He drafted 16,000 university students to the front, 31,000 for service in war industries. Only war-relevant subjects like physics, maths, ballistics, and electronics continued to be taught. University buildings and libraries were put out of action increasingly by bombing. Study became more or less impossible as a result. And to the last year of the war, people's energies were increasingly focused on just trying to stay alive. As the military situation deteriorated and more German soldiers were killed or taken prisoner, the regime lowered the age limit for recruiting until 14 and 15-year-olds, as here, were being conscripted to fight. Girls and boys were drafted in to man anti-aircraft batteries and searchlight units. On the 26th of September 1944, Hitler ordered the formation of the Volkssturm, the People's Storm, a kind of dad's army, including all remaining civilian men aged 16 to 60. Himmler likened the creation of the organization to the popular uprising that had supposedly defeated Napoleon in 1813, but short of uniforms, weapons, and equipment, barely given any training at all, they were a sorry apology for an army. Jokes began to circulate about them. A notice appears on an old people's home, closed because of the call-up. Two men are walking through a graveyard. An old man shouts after them, "So you want to dig out reinforcements from the People's Storm?" It's a rare example of a German pun. Aufheben is the same word for recruiting and dig up. Reality, of course, was less of a joke. 175,000 members of the People's Storm, such as those you see here, were killed fighting the battle-hardened troops of the Red Army and the Western Allies. As the Allied bombing disrupted road and rail communications, obtaining food and other basic necessities of life became steadily more impossible. Electricity and gas supplies were shut off at increasingly frequent intervals. Longer interruptions were caused by air raid damage to generating plants and distribution networks. Up to the end of 1944, food rations were kept at more or less the same level, but from this point onwards, the last few months of the war, they were drastically reduced, forcing people to trade on the black market. Cigarettes became a form of currency, and looting, as shown here, for example, became commonplace. In Essen, where this picture was taken, more than 90 grocery stores were looted within a fortnight in the autumn of 1944. Depots were raided by people carrying foodstuffs away in desperation. Foreign workers who went underground, living in bombed-out buildings, formed large bands dealing in stolen and looted food and clothing. In the Ruhr in particular, there were pitched battles with the police involving revolvers, even machine guns. Gestapo responded with summary public executions, but to little effect.